Right.
So there was people called Canaaniyun, Canaanite. Those are the people who actually are, this is, if you want to go, this is as far back as we can go, even biblically, right? So the people who are actually have the right to the land are the Canaanites. Now the thing is this, the interesting is this, is both Muslims, Palestinians, and Jewish people who were living, not the ones who came from abroad, because I'm going to talk about them in a second, right?
Okay.
The Jewish people who were living in Palestine, in that land, and the Muslims, both of them mixed with the Canaanites. Because what happened is when Moses, he was trying to go to the land of Canaan, he died before entering.
Yeah.
Who ended up entering was Joshua. I'm just saying the biblical history now. So when Joshua entered, unfortunately, he slaughtered everyone, their children, this and that. And then they took over the land forcibly. And then you had the 12 tribes who had different locations in the land at that time. Judah had a specific part, and etc. This is what happened, right? But the Canaanites were the original people in the land. Now later on, when Muslims also took the land, right? Way later on, because when Jewish people took the land, there was Assyrian people took it from them, the Assyrian exile, then you have the Babylonian exile, then you have the Roman Empire also destroying the temple, all of these things that happen, right? Way before Muslims went there. When Muslims went there, Muslims also mixed with the Canaanites, so the original people of the time. So you have now Jewish people who are mixed with the Canaanites, and you have Arabs who are mixed with the Canaanites, and you have far more Arabs mixed with the Canaanites than you have Jewish people. Do you know why?
Why?
Because many Jewish people have left the land later on, and there was Muslims having the land for the majority of time way later, after the conquest, after Muslims took the land. We had it for a very long time. So then the people who are living today, most of them are descendants from a mixture between the Canaanites and the Arabs, right? So they are the original people who have the claim to the land. By the way, this is history, right? Now, when you say now, look, we have no problem.
What I need is my mate here who could have.
But you're Jewish yourself, right? You're Jewish,
Yeah,
right?
but I can't go back.
But you see, the thing is this. I'll tell you this. That's why I told you I was disagreeing with you based on facts, right? The thing is this: a lot of the people are born in Israel and different parts, and they're told a specific part of the history. Like some people think history started from October the 7th. It didn't start from October the 7th, right?
Because Gaza, Hezbollah, and Houthis, and everyone it started way before then, because you've been
even before
missiles in before October the 7th.
Excellent, but now this is only one side you're taking. You're not taking the other side. I'll tell you this. Okay, let's trace back, because I like history.
Can I just say?
Okay. Yes.
I don't necessarily agree with the occupation of the West Bank.
Okay, good. I like that. That's good.
Right.
Yes, that's fair.
But when
the settlements, you don't agree with the settlements, taking people's houses, kicking them out, and then saying literally.
Well, all I know is that when the Jews were given Israel in 1948, we said,
yes.
People said, stay, we all live together.
That's not true.
But the Arab countries surrounding said, no, get out there. You don't want to live in with the Jews.
Okay, that's the version.
And then they didn't want the Palestinians either. So that's how you ended up in Gaza.
This is the version of history that I'm telling you, that the history didn't start from 1948 as well. That's why I'll take you even further back, because I'm a very nice guy, right? Because look, I love history, because no one can come and say to me, this happened, and as if I don't know the history. I know, and I studied the history of that land very well, because this is a very important land for us as Muslims as well, right? Because of mosque there.
Why can't we just live together then?
I'll tell you. You'll be interested now when I'm about to tell you. Before 1917, do you know who Herzl was? Herzl. Herzl was the founder of this movement of Zionism to begin with, right? Herzl sent a letter.
To be a Zionist is just to be pro-Israel.
No,
it's not a terrorist organization.
Yeah, there's different.
Pro-Israel.
Yeah, I believe the state of Israel today is a terrorist organization. That's and I'll tell you why. But before that, let's just identify what I want to tell you, which is history, right? So Herzl, he sent a letter to the British at that time, right? And he wanted that specific land. The British Empire offered them one of two lands: Portugal and Palestine, the land of Palestine. It was not their land. No, they were not living there all their lives. They were not living there. This is history. No one disagrees with this. This is in the UN mentioned, right? So there was a land there. Then the British offering a land that is not their own to the Jewish people, saying, okay, which one do you like? Do you like this land Portugal, or do you like this land Palestine? Which one do you want to get? And then with the Arabs, they promised the Arabs, help us against the Ottomans, and then we'll give you the land later on. And then when the Arabs helped them defeat the Ottomans, later on they said, oh, Arabs, we were just joking, we told you we'll give you the land, but no, we're not going to give you the land. We're actually going to give it to these Jewish people, because this guy, our friend Herzl, said he likes this land over Portugal, right? And what ended up happening is that you had these ships, massive ships, coming from Europe, all over Europe. Why? Why? Because Jewish people, Hitler was following them, and you went all over Europe. So now Herzl is going to bring all of these millions of people and say, okay, all of you come. The ships, these pictures of the ships, everything is recorded historically. Go over there and take this land now of Palestine. Now, before 1917, the king in Palestine at the time was opening the door for Jewish people to enter, surprisingly. So now we're talking about living together. Muslims, Christians, and Jews were living together before 1970s. All of them. No, but you're missing.
Kibbutz and stuff, they're still living together.
Yes. So I'm saying this. What you're saying was there. People were living together. But what ended up happening, starting from 1970 to what you say, 1948, the population of the Jewish people went from, I think, 10% until 30%. Either from 10% to 30%. Do you know whose stats is this? This is the UN stats. Not a Muslim organization telling you this. The UN is telling you they went 3 times the numbers of people. This is not birth rate. You cannot jump from 10 to and from 1970. Where did they come from? I'm telling you, UN. You can Google it right now. Where did they come from? From ships, from abroad, from Poland, from this, from that, from Scotland, from wherever, the Sweden, coming all over. And now what they ended up doing, they don't have houses. There's not enough houses. Millions of people coming in, there's no houses. So what we end up doing is we end up making these illegal settlements. We end up taking over people's houses. And then there's massacres that takes place because there's people who are not going to be happy giving you their house. I'm not going to say, okay, welcome to my house, enter, I'm going to leave, right? Been living here all my life, generations after generations, mixed with the Canaanites, original people of the land, what we were talking about. Huh? So what ended up happening is all of these illegal settlements. The UN condemns the illegal settlements. It agrees with that. It says, when people talk about UN law, the same UN that is mixed with the British that gave you the land is the same that is condemning these illegal settlements, that is saying that their houses are being taken. You know, there's 2 million people living in a living open air prison. And you know that Israel prevents air, prevents this and that, or no water, no food, this and that, for prolonged period of times. And then they say, give us Hamas. But what you're telling, give us Hamas. Hamas are hiding under the tunnels. You're telling basic women and children, you know, population of us is 70% women and children. You're telling women and children, go give us Hamas who's hiding under the tunnels with weapons. What are you going to do for you? And why did Hamas exist to begin with? They existed because you took over the land forcibly, and now they're trying to take the land back. Objective fact. Now, the same UN. No. But the same UN, if you accept the UN law, if that is the standard, it says that people.
The UN can be a bit biased as well.
The UN, every human rights organization identifies that this is an illegal occupation. Find me one that it doesn't.
Okay,
not just the UN.
What is your feelings about what's going on at the moment then?
Well, my feelings is of heartbreak, of sadness, is that I see my brothers and sisters being...
Because I was born in Israel, but my parents didn't stay there very long. They came over here.
Okay.
So I went to Israel on October the 5th, and it's the first time that I've been back to Israel for 26 years.
Okay.
And of course then October the 7th happened, which was, luckily, we were in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
But
you were far away, yeah?
Still going to the bomb shelters and hearing all the news. And in fact, one of the missiles came down 50 meters from where we were standing.
Okay.
So we came back home quite traumatized.
Okay.
What are your feelings on Hamas?
I'll answer you now. I'll answer you. And I want you to think about what I'm saying now very carefully. Imagine me, I'm saying I was terrified because there is a missile 50 meters away from me, and me saying a missile has came down, killed my whole family in front of my own eyes. I'm collecting the remnants of my children with my hands. This is what the everyday life of the Gazan people. Now, when you have an Iron Dome...
What is your view on... Would you be happy if Hamas were gone and there was a Palestinian leader?
I believe the people who had living their lives for generations should be living their lives for generations. If they were Jewish people who didn't come from Europe, taking people's land, they were living there, they're welcome to stay, and they were welcome to stay under the Islamic Empire at the time. No one kicked them out. So I'm saying the people who are born in these lands, generation after generation, living in the land are the people who are ought to stay in the land.
So you won't condemn October the 7th?
Look, I cannot condemn October. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
People fighting for their rights.
I'll tell you what I'll condemn. I'll tell you what I'll condemn.
That they caused.
I'll tell you.
And I had family.
Yes.
I had some of the people were friends of family
Yes.
that were massacred.
Yes. He told you he's Palestinian. If he tells you how many people of his family members are, and you see, and he treats you with respect, with nothing,
No, I know. That's why
we
I'm
don't.
teaching you with respect.
Yes. So
Well.
we don't like carry that and put it on other people who didn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you say condemn, remember I said to you in the beginning, history did not start October the 7th. I cannot condemn something that has tens of years of persecution behind it. Do you know how many children were killed before October the 7th? Do you know how many attacks, how many raids of the Israeli arms? I had an IDF soldier accept Islam in one of my online streams. He talked about what they used to do to the Palestinians before October the 7th. For years, he's talking about how they went, how they guns on the children pissed themselves, and how ridiculous what these people were doing.
How do we move forward then?
I'll tell you. I'll come to that. That's an excellent question. So when you ask me what do I condemn, I condemn the killing of any innocent women and children. Any party, any side. I don't care. I condemn that.
Yeah.
And I believe the people who are the original people living for generations are the people who are supposed to say, if you came from someone else, go back to your country. You came from Poland, you're a Polish person. I don't care if you're Israeli or Palestinian, whatever it is. You came from another country. You cannot take someone else's house, kick him out, and say, I'm going to stay. So how do we solve it? You say, we solve it by what I'm telling you, is that the people who took other people's land, because by the way, I speak to a lot of Israeli people, and they admit it. The people who are settlers there, they say, yes, we know.
Well,
We came. Yes.
I'm against the very religious Israeli nutters.
Okay.
I'm not calling them terrorists, but I'm trying to think what I'm calling them. Extremists on any side. I'm against extremists.
Do you know what I told you?
On any side.
Excellent. But you should be honest then enough to say that the Israeli government is a terrorist organization. I'll tell you why. Since October the 7th, do you know how many journalists were killed? Do you know how many hospitals were bombed? Do you know how many children died?
Well,
you know how
all
many?
I know is that things like
This is not war.
Reported that Israel bombed a hospital, which they didn't do, and then it's not reported that.
We're not talking about.
Hamas
Leave the
bombed
BBC.
hospital.
The UN is neither with Muslims nor with it's supposed to be.
That's kind of.
Why would the
UN?
Well, why would the UN that invaded Muslim countries essentially be on the side of Muslims? That makes no sense. Most of the governments that make the UN essentially are governments that supports Israel politically. So no one can come and say these people are supporting Muslims. That makes no sense, because that's why they're not doing sanctions. They're admitting these war crimes. They're war crimes, but they're not doing sanctions. They're not intervening essentially. Even in the court where they were shown that Israel is wrong, nothing happened. So the UN is more on the side of Israel than anyone else. But the same thing, this UN is giving you the stats, the numbers, that you have tens of thousands of women and children massacred and killed. You have hundreds of reporters. Those same reporters, they tell you they're living there and they have videos online, right, on Instagram themselves. They're showing you how they're being treated, how they're being killed, how their brothers, their sisters, they're there. They're just filming. They're reporters, independent. They're not with the army. They're not with anyone.
What you're seeing and what I'm seeing on my Instagram feeds are going to be probably.
But I'm seeing both sides.
I've seen him.
That's why I told you. That's why when I was telling you, I know what history you're told. I know what they show you. They tell you, okay, look, they show you, okay, we're bombed here. This happened to our part. All the missiles are coming. Hide under the, and then you have all of these sirens and this. They make you live in a movie in which you think that everything is wrong, while in reality you have an Iron Dome that intercepts over 99% of the missiles. If anything goes, if anything goes, and then you have,
I saw them coming over.
Do you know you have hundreds? You know hundreds of airships, tanks, battleships in the field, an army, a navy. Do you know what the Palestinians have? Nothing. And then you have no army.
Yeah, but they're funded by Iran, so they have everything.
Not really Iran, but whoever they're funded by. Do you know how they're building these missiles? These people, they're looking for the leftovers. The leftovers.
And they're using all
Do you know
the
why?
aid that comes in.
Why? No, not that. No, it's not about the aid. I'm telling you, think about how much these people are struggling. You will never go to the extent to literally make a missile, diving in the sea, finding the leftovers of ships that was broken, and trying to make a weapon or make a missile, except if your life, you have nothing, you have no other options. Every day you're being persecuted and killed, you have nothing. You're looking for any way that how can I defend myself? How can I do anything? So these people, what what I'm telling you is you have airplanes and you have continuous bombings on civilians. And then later on they say, and by the way, there are videos of targeted civilians. Videos. They're targeting civilians. There are videos of them shooting people on the borders.
Hamas hide in schools, in hospitals.
That's what they tell you.
They could have.
You know, the interesting is this.
Put the people in the tunnels.
Do you know what they did? They went into one of the hospitals, Shifa Hospital, and they claimed that Hamas was there, and there was no evidence. They showed, oh, these are the names of Hamas, and it says Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It says the names of the week. They implanted evidence, and it was showed in the video. In the video itself that they posted, it showed.
Again, I saw a Palestinian woman on one of the videos that I saw, who was crying and wailing. When she thought she was off camera, she was having a joke with the person next to her.
No, let me agree. Let me be kind enough to say I agree with you. This happened. In comparison, how many hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of real cases are there? You need to look. In Israel, show me pictures of children that are dead. Go ahead. Right now, after October 7, you cannot bring me one picture. Do you know how many I can show you of pieces of children and women? Do you see the magnitude? It's like saying...
So...
I'll tell you, if you want, what can you do? I'll tell you what you can do.
The people in Israel aren't going to move out of Israel. So,
okay.
At the moment, Israel is surrounded by Gaza, by Syria, by Iran, by.
But none of these governments are doing anything. In reality,
what's going to happen?
I'll tell you. Look, what the people who have humanity in them, who actually have any sense of humanity in them, whether you are from a Jewish lineage or whatever it is, you will condemn the actions that the terrorist Israeli government is doing, killing journalists, women and children, not civilians. We say, look, we're happy. You want to do face-to-face battle, army versus Hamas, we'll be the first person to do it. Go ahead, fight.
But all they have to do is release hostages.
No, but the thing is this. Do you know how many hostages?
Are either pregnant or dead.
Do you know how? That's not true. The hostages were released in video, and Hamas showed them, and they were fine. The woman was crying. She was saying they didn't rape me, so I felt emotionally raped because they didn't rape me. Which makes no sense in my mind. In video, she's saying the Israeli woman that was released. I can show you now the footage of them releasing after October 7th, releasing some of them. Do you know how many prisoners are there before October the 7th from the Palestinians that they're not released? You're talking about a group of people who were taken after October 7th. You are missing how many tens of thousands of people who are there already in prisons of the Palestinians. The thing is, I'm telling you, you're not looking at the other side. The thing is, what happens is, the people are under Netanyahu's government, who's already people who are hating him, so he ended up now changing everything. Oh, now we're focusing on October 7th, don't focus on me anymore. People are supposed to be against that leader and say that we are against this. They shouldn't be killing him. If you want to fight Hamas, when they tried to go by land Hamas, they couldn't do anything. They lost, and they went back. This soldier to soldier, why you have the most advanced weapon? Why you're not able to beat? Do you know why? Because those people have been. Do you know if they have one leg, they will fight, because their father, grandfather, and great-great-grandfather, sister, they were all bombed in front of their eyes. Every time you bomb, you create another Hamas soldier. Every time you kill innocent civilians, and you say, how can we solve? You're creating them. You solve it by giving these people the human dignity, a life to live just like everyone else. The Palestinian people.
Yeah, but Hamas don't, even if they want to destroy, they want to destroy Jewish people. They want to exterminate and get rid of every last one.
Look, I'll tell you honestly that there was many times where there was talks about peace between Hamas and the government. I don't believe that's true what you're saying. But essentially, I'm saying you would agree with me now, objectively, historically, that the people came from Europe and took other people's land. You're asking me what is the solution? There can only be one solution. If I went to your house right now, here in the UK, and
you know that's not going to happen though.
Thank you. So what can we do? The least we could do is we admit whose side is wrong, the side that took people's house. This is the first thing. Second thing is to condemn any killing, as I did, of any innocent civilians from any party, and say if you want to be against Hamas, then should be an army, a man-to-man. This is what you should do. Shouldn't be bombing hospitals and claiming that people are hiding under it. If I say to you, okay, look, let's say I'm one of the members of whatever, any bad organization in the UK. Hypothetically, I'm not with any organizations. I'm making that clear, yeah? So if I go and I hide in your house, is it justified for the government to bomb your house? This is essentially what you said. That makes no sense. What did you do? If I'm living in your house, like, what they're supposed to do is try to find the means of how can we now save this innocent woman, right? What is the way to save this innocent woman and deal with this person, this whoever evil person that living in that place or hiding in that place? It's not a justification to claim that they're hiding in this place. I'm going to kill all of these women and children. Do you know why it's really happened? It's happening wrong because the less Palestinians are there, the easier we take that land. The easier now we expand. The easier now there's more room for more Israeli people to come. There's more room for people. This is why these bombings are happening. The justification of Hamas is what they're telling you.
I think at the end of it, we're going to agree to disagree.
But we agree on a lot of things.
But I've enjoyed talking to you.
No problem, no problem.
But I feel like I'm probably not that equipped. I need someone who's more equipped to talk
You
to
can bring if you like, but the thing is this. What I'm telling you, as I said, is not my history. This is all, every human rights organization on the planet Earth has condemned Israel for illegal occupations, settlements, war crimes. Not a single land. And I'm telling you, the same UN law gives Hamas, says that any land which has been illegally occupied, people who are living there, just like they did in South Africa. They fought against their occupiers. You have to fight. If people are being killed, then you have to make a movement in which you will fight. What else? You said they're not going to leave, is what you said. Exactly, they're not going to leave. So what else is the other option? If you're going to be treated as third-class citizens and being stopped from things and being racist against us and trying to take our land and kick us out, doing everything to try to make us, we'll fight back. That's why the Palestinians, you hear always, why are the Palestinians not leaving to other lands? They don't want to go. If you go to a Palestinian and say, leave, they will say to you, I will die in my land. Why should I go to someone else's place? It's my house. I was born here. Generations of generations. Why are you telling me to go to Egypt or go to Syria? For what reason? So the thing is, we need to open our minds to actual history, which is what I was telling you from the beginning. If you not talk about who had the rights to the land by lineage, it was the Canaanites. And who's mixed with the Canaanites are the Palestinians of today. There's DNA tests that you can do. Now the people who are coming from Europe, these are not the people who are original to that land or indigenous. If you have Israelis who are living there, Christians and Muslims, welcome to stay. That's what I believe. And anyone who took a land that is not theirs, it should be taken away from them. But as you said, that's not going to happen. So we'll end up, at least what you could do is to speak out, to say this is wrong. I'm someone, you could say, and people will respect you for that. I'm someone who I live in Israel, I'm from an Israeli, but I condemn what the government is doing. It's not good to target, this is not okay to target children and hospitals and reporters and to claim that they're hiding, that Hamas is hiding. It's not a justification.
We're going to have to agree to maybe just
okay, think about what I said, but
on this.
yeah, okay.
Nice to meet you.
I apologize, but we don't shake hands with the opposite gender in Islam. Women to man, not you, but it's just anyone, right? Even the Muslim sisters, I cannot do it, But I appreciate your manners, and you see, we still can have a discussion, because a lot of people try to put this image that there's hatred. Look, if we see each other, we're gonna. But no, I'm an Arab, by the way, right? And Arabs, people play this game. No, we can speak. We can speak and we can come to conclusions. We can agree to disagree, right? But we can put the facts. People can decide, right? It was a pleasure talking to you. Though. Read the Quran, Nice talking to you. See you. Bye-bye.